Hello and welcome to my live Forever in Motion class. I'm just going to adjust the screen just a little bit, make sure you can see my feet. And I actually just might tilt this down just a little bit more so you can see my feet a bit better. And of course I don't have a level surface here at the moment here. We're coming, there we go. Okay, hi everybody, my name is Kimberly. Welcome to my live Forever in Motion Facebook class, and you might be watching this live eventually here, or you might be watching this at another time. But either way, welcome, and I'm glad you decided to join me today. So a couple things to think about today is I've got beside me here a chair, and I've got a band and tubing, band or tubing, and a set of weights. And as well, you can see just on the corner there, I've also got my water bottle. So make sure you have those things by you so that you can have them handy for support. And remember to always listen to your body, to work at your own pace. And most importantly is to have fun. So let's get started with a little bit of a warm up. So see a couple people starting to join in. Welcome everybody. So first of all, I'll always remind you, you have options. You can do the exercises seated if that is your preference. You can do exercises standing behind your chair, using your chair for support, or you can just stand without any support and do the exercise as well. So you always have those options. And I'm gonna mostly be to the side of my chair and in front of my chair, just so that you can see me. But know that you could be doing all of these exercises behind your chair with a chair for support, just in case you need it if you'd like. And I'm gonna get rid of just a little bit more of my ceiling there. Oh boy, can I get rid of my ceiling without you tipping? Nope, I can't. Okay, so you'll have to see a little bit more of my ceiling that I'd actually like, but if I tilt you much more, you're going to flip and onto the ground here too. So let's not do that. So let's march it out. Let's remember our ABCs of posture. So let's stand with those shoulders up, back, and down. Chest is lifted, abdominals in, bum tucked, chest lifted, and chin tucked. So whatever cue resonates with you for your posture, just do those moves or those positions, right? Okay, let's start with a tap to the side. And I'm just going to come forward a bit so I don't bang my chair. Let's tap to the side together, tap to the side together. Now let's just try doing this with one arm out to the side here. Great, good. Okay, so we're gonna always try to strain our brain. I like to work brain health anytime we do our class, so let's alternate just one side and then the other. But if you're up for straining your brain today, can we do the opposite arm comes out at the same time? Now this is messing with my mind a little bit. I flipped my screen, so it kind of looks funky for me. It looks like I'm doing opposite side in the screen here. But so the opposite arm to that leg is gonna extend out, okay? Great. So don't forget to breathe. We're never holding our breath during our cardio section. We're just breathing normally. That's it. I know you can always work easier or harder. If you'd like to work a little harder, maybe you're gonna speed that up just a little bit. If you'd like to work a little easier, you could have your hand on the chair, just focusing on the legs, or you can do this exact same thing seated, right? Good. Okay, let's just see a couple more here. 4 more, 3 more, 2, and last one, march it out. Okay, let's do a tap back. So we've warmed up the side of our body a bit. Now let's warm up the back. So tap together, touch back. I'm gonna stay standing tall, stay with that good posture here, belly button pulled in, shoulders back and down, and I'm gonna touch back. And again, it might seem like this is a little harder in seated, but you can definitely do it still. You're just gonna tap back or tap underneath your chair as you're doing that. Great, good, okay, keep going. Oh, look at all you here today. Oh, I love to see all my friends. Hi, Dagan, hi, Joan, hi, Luella. Okay, great job. Okay, just a few more. That's a bit better. I lowered my computer desk here so you'll see a little bit more of my feet. Great. Okay, so standing tall, chest is lifted. Good. And arms and legs. Now I like my arms to swing the opposite direction just to kind of counterbalance me. But no, you could have those arms going back with the legs if that feels more comfortable. Good. And then, you know, I always love to strain your brain. Can I work you a little bit harder? Again, completely up to you, but have those arms in a diamond instead this time. So arms side, up, out, and down. And again, know you always have options. So you could always choose to do this without arms. You could do it seated. You could do those arms in front, or you could try those challenging arms with me here. Great. And again, always remembering to breathe here. We're never holding our breath. Okay, 2 more. And last time. Great, march it out. Okay, let's try a 1, 2, 3 tap. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap. 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap. Now, can we, again, we can always just stay in the spot. Can we just move that to the side a little bit? 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap. So just moving it side to side just a little bit. Again, a little harder challenge on the brain to move it around. So we have the option to do this behind our chair, staying in the spot. We could do this seated, or we could move it around just a little bit. Good. Okay, you guys aren't gonna see Teddy today. It looks like he's just decided to not join us today, and he's just fallen asleep on the chair in front of me here. Good. And Sunny, AKA Chaos, I've got him upstairs with some kids that are home since all the roads are kind of impassable right now. So he's contained right now. So no chaos in the picture, hopefully. Okay, 2 more. And last time. Great, and march it out. Nice. Okay, let's grab a quick drink of water here before we keep going. We're just gonna keep those feet moving just a bit. Good. Always like to just gradually bring that heart rate back down. So let's go into that low march as we have our drink of water. If you had to go run to the kitchen or go grab it, that's just fine. You got a minute or two. Let's just bring that heart rate down to a low march. And let's do a couple shoulder rolls. Nice deep breath in. And exhale, drop those shoulders back and down. Again, nice deep breath in. And exhale. Great. And one more time. So how are you making out today? Are you stuck at home? Is that why there's so many of you on today here? Let's just rotate the wrists here. Feel free to give me a thumbs up if you're doing okay, if you're at home, or add a comment if you like, and rotate other direction. Yeah, and those of you that watch this later, this happens to be a day that we've gotten lots of wind all night last night and continuing on today. I know a lot of my rural roads are not passable right now, so very thankful I didn't have to leave my house here today. Great. Okay, let's just alternate lifting the heels here. That's it. Just working on a little bit of ankle mobility here as we continue to bring that heart rate down. Okay, and 2 more, and last one. Okay. Okay, one more quick drink here, making sure we're staying hydrated throughout our class. Okay, so we're gonna go into our strength, and we always start with our big muscle groups and move on to our smaller muscle groups. We're gonna start with our double arm back row for today. So we're gonna stand with our feet shoulder width, or hinged, feet shoulder width apart, and we're gonna hinge forward at the hips, keeping our head and neck in line with our spine, our hands hanging down. And we're gonna bring those hands to our hips and then lower those hands back down. And I thought today we'd do a little bit of a mini circuit or interval today. So we're gonna do one strength exercise, and then we're gonna do just a little bit of cardio in between. And oftentimes we kind of give our body a couple seconds just to rest between exercises. This will give us a chance to move around a little bit. And if you're keeping track of your steps, this will help us get a couple extra steps in today. And 2 more, actually a couple more than 2. I'm not even feeling this yet. No, you could do this with your weights. And maybe I need a little bit heavier weights next time. Or you could do this with your tubing underneath your feet. And then you could also be doing this seated, right? You always have a seated option. You could be doing the exact same thing. So oftentimes the seated option looks exactly the same as the standing option. And I would always let you know if it didn't. Great. Okay, so I probably could have grabbed a heavier set of weights, as I just said. Let's see a couple more here. Know that you can stop sooner if you've got a heavy enough weights, or you could keep going just a couple more if you felt like you needed a little bit more of a workout there. Okay, let's do a little cardio interval here. So we're gonna go wide and narrow. Wide, wide, narrow, narrow. Wide, wide, narrow, narrow. Now again, you could do this seated. It would look exactly the same. I could have my hands holding onto the chair in front. I can do this without any support whatsoever. Or I could even just go a little faster if I wanted just a little bit more of a workout. So right there in less than 10 seconds, I gave you 4 different options for intensity. So know that you can always work this as easy or as hard as you'd like. I always like to gently push you into working as hard as you're able to work, right? Because you're gonna see the most benefits if you can just push yourself a little bit. So if you need to sit, you're sitting. If you can be standing, holding onto your chair, stand holding onto your chair. If you can do, that moving just a little slower, a little lighter, go forward. Or if you can pick it up just a little bit, then please feel free. Okay, just a couple more seconds. We're looking at about 30-second intervals. 4 more, 3, 2, and last one. Great job. Okay, let's grab onto our band here for our chest exercises. So for our chest, we're gonna take our band, we're gonna bring it behind our back, underneath those armpits, almost like we're toweling off here. I'm gonna come closer when you don't need to see my feet, so I can be as big as you possibly can. And I'm gonna hang on to my band with a little bit of tension on my band right off the hop. Now this one I find is a little bit harder, in that I want your elbows to be at a 90-degree angle. So when you're looking at me straight here in the camera, you can notice my knuckles are in front of my elbows versus my knuckles in front of my chest. So bring those hands a little wider, and then I'm just gonna tilt forward. Don't tilt forward. You're gonna press forward. You can see my hands are coming together in front, and then I'm gonna come all the way back to that 90-degree angle or right angle in my elbows again. So let's try that together. Press forward, and come back. So this is a chest press. Great. Make sure that belly button is pulled into the spine. So our core is turned on. We can be working our core the whole entire class if we just think about it just a little bit. Turn it on as we're doing our exercises. Just works just a little bit harder. Great. That's it. So we want to start to feel that. So we're at about 8 right now. I'm just ever so slightly starting to feel some fatigue in my chest, kind of underneath the front of my armpits, or right here, right? So just starting to feel that fatigue. I can feel my shoulders starting to work. Let's see if we can do 2 or 3 more. No, you can stop if you felt like you've had enough. And 2 more. And last one. Great. Okay, let's release that band. Great, and let's go into our cardio interval. Once again, it's gonna look the exact same seated as it is standing. We're gonna go wide, wide, narrow, narrow. So if you're seated, it's gonna look exactly the same. Wide, wide, narrow, narrow. Wide, wide, narrow, narrow. Okay, keep going there for me. That's it. I'm gonna see if I can lower you down just a little bit more with my desk. See if you can just see a little bit more of my feet there. Great. Again, it's that fine line. Yeah, you're gonna fall forward if I move you any more forward. Yep. Okay. Yep, it's not gonna happen, guys. Sorry. It's as much as my feet as you're gonna see. Wide, wide, narrow, narrow. We're continuing on, right? Good. Okay, let's say 2 more, and then we're gonna switch legs. So we're gonna tap down and then start with the other lead leg. Ready? Tap, and then the other leg starts or leads. So we want to just switch our lead leg every once in a while. Switch which leg starts the movement. Great. So again, as I mentioned, you could do this seated, you could do this standing with your chair in front, or I'm doing it without any support so that you can see my legs. And if you want to work a little harder, you can lift and lower those legs just a little bit. Again, I always feel that I'm gonna push you just a little bit to work as hard as you're able to, but always know you should be doing this safely, right? If your balance is not very good, then definitely you should have a chair for support here, or if your balance really isn't good, you should be seated for this, making sure that you're not gonna fall or get an injury while performing any of these exercises. Okay, last 2 and last one. Okay, march it out. Okay, this is a great time for a drink of water again. Okay, let's dedicate some time just to our shoulders now. So we're gonna stand again with our feet shoulder apart, knees are soft. You can be doing this seated and it's gonna look exactly the same. We're gonna take a nice deep breath in, roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Chest is lifted, my palms are gonna be facing the front of the room. And then we're gonna lift our arms straight out to the side and then straight back down. This is our lateral raise. Now you could be doing this one with a band instead if you'd like. It looks exactly the same, but your tubing would be underneath your foot for resistance. I just happen to like weights a little better for this one because my 5-pound weights weigh 5 pounds here, still weigh 5 pounds, and still weigh 5 pounds. Whereas if you've got a tubing, you might find near the end, so while your arms are out to the side, that becomes really difficult to actually get those hands all the way up. So feel free to lengthen your band to give you more band on each side, or do one side at a time if your band isn't long enough to do both sides at the same time. That's it. Let's see a couple more. That's it. So this is working our shoulders or our medial deltoids for this one. And last one. We want to try to go to fatigue, the point where we feel like we can't quite do one more. That one I was just starting to feel that last couple. So that's where we want to get to for these ones. Okay, let's now do a, we did that 1, 2, 3 tap in our warm up. Let's go back to that. 1, 2, 3 tap, 1, 2, 3 tap. So we're going to do it again, but this time here we're going to do it with a knee. 1, 2, 3 knee, 1, 2, 3 knee. So we introduced it in the warm up, and now we're kind of progressing it a bit, just making it a little bit harder. So opposite hand can touch that opposite knee here if you'd like. Again, I consider this again a little bit of a abdominal workout too, so pull that belly button to spine as you bring that knee up and touch that hand. And we can always bring that arm just a little bit bigger around. Any bigger movements will make things harder. 1, 2, 3 knee, and again, looks exactly the same in seated, right? You can always modify the exercises if you'd like. I might not be on the same foot as you anymore, and that's okay. 4 more. That's it. And last one. Great. March it out there. Okay, very nice. Let's go on to some leg strengthening. So we're still doing good, everybody. Boy, lots of you on here today. So nice to see you all. I just wish I could actually see you all in person here too. Okay, so let's move on to some leg strengthening. I know leg strengthening is your absolute favorite, isn't it? So let's do a squat for our first leg strengthening exercise here. So my feet are about hip width, they're shoulder width apart. I'm always going to start with good posture here, and I'm going to turn to the side so you can get the best view here. My chest is gonna stay lifted. If I feel like I need that chair for support, I'm gonna have that chair in front of me here. And if I feel like my balance isn't great, I might even have a chair behind me too. I'm gonna sit my bum back, keeping that chest lifted, hips are going back, and then coming all the way up. So almost like we're pretending like we're about to sit in a chair. Oh, the phone just rang and we gotta get up and go answer the phone. Or we're gonna sit down in that chair. Oh, just remembered our coffee was still in the microwave. You better go grab it. Okay, so we're coming down and up, working on that leg strengthening. This is very functional in our everyday life. We need good leg strength to be able to go up and down stairs, to get in and out of a chair, to get on and off the toilet. All of those are important. Now I want you to keep going with that. If you feel like squats just are a little bit too much for you, then you can always sit on your chair and you can do a leg extension instead. So you could simply straighten and bend the legs, sitting up tall, so our back is never against the back of the chair. And then you're gonna do the same movement. You're still strengthening those quadriceps, but you're simply just straightening and bending that leg. Great. Okay, those of you doing your squat, you're probably starting to think I've forgotten about you. Let's see 2 more. And last time. Great. Okay, give that a shake here. Very good. Okay, let's do another cardio interval here. So this time here, let's do a jumping jack. Sorry, I just came up with that. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. So let's do a modified jumping jack. It's going to look like this. So one foot is tapping out to the side as our arms are going out to the side here. So this is a low impact jack. Once again, it looks exactly the same in seated. Like my bum's just on a chair. If I'm doing it seated instead, it looks exactly the same. Now, if you feel like you're up for just a little bit of impact, you could make this just a little bit harder by adding just a little bit of a hop in between. Kind of works that brain just a little bit too, okay? So now you could add just a teeny bit of a hop if you'd like. And then if you're doing it seated, if you wanted to, instead of the alternating one and then the other, you could do both arms, both legs in that seated position. So that would be an option too if you'd like, or you can stay with that alternating legs kind of thing. Okay, so just a little cardio intervals just to get our steps up for our day, just to get that heart rate going, just a teeny bit between exercises. Okay, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Great job. Okay, march it out. Okay, let's grab that drink of water again. I always encourage you to have little sips throughout our class. Okay, moving on here to our biceps. So let's grab our weights. I know you can always choose between weights or tubing. So if you have tubing, you'd have that underneath your feet. Let's do a reverse bicep curl. So we're gonna flip our hands so they're facing back. Roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Take a nice deep breath in. And then on your exhale, bring those hands towards the shoulders. And inhale, bring those hands back down. That's it. Always remembering to breathe, so never holding our breath as we're doing our exercises. And your seated would look exactly the same. If you had the band underneath your feet instead, again, it would look exactly the same, but you'd have the resistance from the band. And I know you've heard me say this before, but I really like the reverse bicep curls because we are really working on that forearm strength. So that'll help us to be able to open up jars, to be able to, if we've got light switches, that are those twist light switches, helps to open those or turn those on and off. So I really like the reverse bicep curls. I find it's one of the 3 bicep curls that we do the least. So I like to do it the most since I know not very many other leaders do those ones. That's it. And it is harder, so it tends to be people's least favorite. We tend to not like the exercises that are harder. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so let's see 2 or 3 more. Great, I'm starting to feel fatigue. I'm gonna do 1 more. I feel like if I do many more, then I might start rocking my body or arching my back. So you know, you just stop whenever you're getting to that point of fatigue, right? Okay, give that a little shake. Maybe stretch out those hands or those wrists just a bit. Good. Okay, let's do a step touch. So let's do 2-step touch one way, 2-step touch the other way. Okay, here we go. So 2, one direction, 2 the other direction. So seated will look exactly the same. You just won't travel as much. You'd be taking a little step and another step. So seated looks exactly the same. If you want to do this with that chair for support, you just might have to alternate. Boy, talk about good miming, hey? You know, you might have to alternate that hand so you can have that hand on the chair for support if you need. Or if you don't need that chair, don't use that chair. Can we add those arms to the movement? I'm going to reach and pull at the same time. Good. Great. Now again, you can work as easy or as hard as you'd like. Seated, holding on to that chair, or standing, just moving the hands. And then if you want to work a little harder still, if you think you can be challenged just a bit, just travel a little further with that. So going a little further side to side. I like these sort of ones because you feel like you're just working a little bit of those outer thighs, and that's kind of a nice area to tone up. Someone very nice labeled those saddlebags, so we're just working a little bit of those outer hip area there that somebody very kindly labeled as saddlebags. Okay, 2 more. And last time. Great. Okay, and march it out. Very nice. Okay, let's move on to triceps. So for this one here, we're going to grab our band. And let's do one for reaction today. I really like this one. I do this one every once in a while with you guys. We're going to put the band behind our back. We're going to drop the elbows down. And this one, to make this triceps, we just need to straighten and bend our arms here. And we're going to combine that with not only straightening and bending our arms, but we're going to add our reaction time to it. So it's a little faster movement than what we might normally do. But then we're working our tricep muscles and we're working our reaction time as well. So if I'm about to have a fall, I want to be able to outstretch my arms fast and have the strength in my muscles to stop the fall. So this is a good exercise for that. So I'm going to call out either right, left, or both, okay? But I am not going to do it with you. And the reason why I don't do it with you is if I do it, then you tend to just mirror me. And I believe as I'm mirroring you right now, that is my right, but it might look in your screen like that's my left if you're mirroring me. So it just gets confusing. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to simply call out right, left, or both. Are you ready? So it would look like right, left, or both, and you'd react to it. Okay, here we go. Right, right, left, 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 right, both, left, left, both, left, both, right, right, both, left, right, both, 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 right, left, both, left, right, both. Great job. I see a couple people came on as we were doing this. You're probably wondering what the heck I was doing there. This is the exercise where we do both hands, right or left. So working our triceps and our reaction time. So great job, those of you who caught that and did that all the way. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's go into one more cardio move. Get that upper body just a bit of a break. Have a quick drink of water. Okay, so for this one, again, seated or standing, we're just gonna do a fast march in the spot, okay? So again, seated, Standing, holding onto our chair, or no chair for support if we need it. And just a nice fast march. Can we pull that belly button to spine, stand tall, and then just a nice fast low march in the spot. Okay, great. And again, you can take it a little easier, you can slow it down if you just don't need quite so intense of a movement, or you can speed it up just a little bit if you want to work a little harder. That's it. Again, make sure you're still breathing. Don't hold your breath during your movements. We're just taking some nice, easy, relaxing breaths for our cardio section, and then we're kind of exhaling on our exertion, inhaling and release as we do our strength. But I always just say, as long as you're breathing throughout class, then I'm happy that you're breathing and not holding your breath. Okay, 4 more seconds. 3, 2, and last one. Okay, let's bring that back to a low march. Nice. Okay, let's do some core strengthening here. Since we're standing right now, let's just stay standing. And again, I'm going to give you a seated option of this, but I would encourage you to hold on to your chair for this one. So imagine my chair is in front of me. I don't have my chair so you can see me. I'm going to lift up my opposite arm, and I'm just going to bring my armpit and my hip together and then release. My knee bends a little bit, but I don't actually want a knee bend here. I don't want you to work your hip flexor. I want you to work your obliques along your side. So armpit and hip bring together, my knee bends slightly, but really doesn't come up very high. Squeeze together and release. Now, if I don't need my chair very much, maybe I just have my hand hovering. So you can do this also seated, and it looks like this. Opposite arm and opposite hip. Sorry, not opposite. Elbow, same hip come together, and then release. Elbow and hip together, and release. Great, so you can see you can do this seated or standing. And once again, like so many of our exercises, they look exactly the same seated and standing. And again, we're breathing here at the same time. I'm exhaling as I'm squeezing them together, inhaling as I release. And 2 more. And last time. Good. Okay, let's see the other side here now. So again, feel free to do this seated on the other side if you prefer. Holding onto our chair for support if you'd like. Great. That's it. How are we doing? You feeling that just a little bit through the side of the body a bit? Good. We're working our obliques, and then I used to always say we're also working our love handles, but I don't know why they call them love handles because I don't love them. And I'm really careful when I say that now, because I had an older adult gentleman come up to me at the field house once, asked me if I wanted him to explain to me why they're called love handles. And I'm sure you've heard that before from me. So I'm always very careful when I say that now. Okay, 2 more. And last time. Great. Okay, give that a shake. Let's work the front of our abdominals here now. So we'll have to move our weights off of our chair for that. So I'm going to take them off using good ergonomics. I'm actually going to bend down to put those down so I don't hurt my back at all. And then we're going to come back to our chair. So I'm going to give my chair a turn. Okay. And we are going to sit on our chair with our band behind our chair. So if you have a chair that doesn't have a great option for that, then I would say just simply lean back. Do that one instead. But if you're able to put your band behind your chair, I have a fantastic chair for this today because it's really high and very sturdy. I don't have to worry about risking that band's going to snap back on the back of my head. So I'm going to take my band, I'm going to wrap it around my chest here, I'm going to sit up nice and tall, and I'm going to simply pull away from the back of the chair and then come forward. So the resistance is, as I pull away, the band is giving me some resistance to work those rectus abdominals or 6-pack abdominal in the front. Good. Now you can also just slide your bum away from the chair just a little bit, and you can do the same thing as well. Good. Now the only down about this is I got kind of short legs, and they're really not, my feet aren't totally touching the floor. It'd be a bit better if my feet could be flat on the floor. Just short legs, and I can't make it. So at least I've got my toes there as a little bit of an anchor. I could even come a little bit further, then I might be able to put my feet down, have that band crossed, and then reach. Good. I actually kind of like it better, I think, when just my toes are down. I still have a hard time kind of putting them all the way down. So I'm reaching or pressing against, so that's working my rectus abdominis muscles or my six pack. And know that many of us have a soft shelled cooler surrounding our six pack abdominals, and that is just fine. Good. I always like to remind people that oftentimes it's not that if you're size 0 or 2 you're healthy necessarily. You know, oftentimes those of us that are size, 8, 10, 12 are healthier sometimes than that size 0 or 2 because we're physically active, we're eating healthy, and that size 10 might be the size that our body just naturally settles to, and that is just fine too. Let's see, 2 more. And last one. Great. Okay, good job. Okay, let's work a little bit of balance and just a little bit of maybe core strength on the back side as well. So we're gonna need that chair for support. So if you didn't have a chair before, you will need it now here for this next one. On the floor, or in the regular fitness world, we call this a bird dog. Kind of like a dog a hunter has gone out and hunted a bird, and they've shot down a bird, and then the dog is pointing at the bird is the idea of it. So I know that's kind of crazy. So we're gonna have our hands on our chair. I'm gonna try to maintain a nice neutral spine as much as I can. I'm gonna have my hands as the base of the triangle and my vision like the top of the triangle. So hands base the triangle, vision top of the triangle. So we keep that head and neck in line with the spine. Level 1, we're just gonna alternate lifting that hand up here, nice and control. I'm gonna pull that belly button in. I'm gonna make sure that core is turned on as I lift the hands. So that's level 1. Level 2, you're gonna lift the leg back. Make sure that you're not gonna kick somebody back behind you there. So you're lifting and lowering the leg. And sorry, I realize you can't see my full leg, but you get the idea that I'm straightening my leg out behind me. And then your third option, the hardest of all those, is you're alternating arm and leg. So my right arm and my left leg are lifting, and then I slowly lower back down. And then I'm gonna lift my left hand, my right leg, and then lower back down. That's it. Let's see, about 2 more here. And again, always slow and controlled is harder and better for our balance and our stability, increasing our strength and going fast. Good. Okay, so that was just a little bit of balance, a little bit of core strength for that lower back this time. Okay. Let's come back behind that chair again, and using that chair for support again. I'm going to be to the side so that you can always see my feet. If I'm behind my chair, you can't see my feet as well. So let's do that rock forward and back. So my feet right now are about hip width apart, and my back toe and front heel are half a foot apart from each other. So I'm going to rock forward, bending my front knee. I'm going to rock back, maybe lifting that toe. I can lift that back heel and that front toe if I wanted to. And that chair is always there for support if I feel like I need it. Now I could, if I wanted to, add one arm, lift up one arm at the same time with that, or I could lift up both arms at the same time. Great, so that's our level 1. Let's progress a little faster. Level 2, I'm gonna slide my front foot back so that my toe and my heel are in line. I still have my feet about hip width or shoulder width apart, but I'm bringing them a little closer together. Our level 2 could be a couple things, right? I can slide the feet back so that that heel and toe are lined up, or I could have kept my feet a little further apart but gone in a tight rope already. You kind of have 2 options for level 2s. We're doing this one today though. And again, you can keep that hand there for support, just lift one arm, or you can lift both arms. Great. And then our level 3, you're gonna bring that heel and toe together, and then you're gonna, again, lift up one arm or lift up both arms. This one will definitely be a little bit more of a challenge on your balance. You can see I'm wobbling just a bit. So good that we have that chair there for support if we need it. And again, we're not holding our breath ever. We're just breathing at the same time with this. And we are bringing our arms above our head. When our heart rates aren't accelerated, or we don't have any weights or tubing or resistance of our arms, really functional that we lift those arms above the head to work on that range of motion of the shoulders. Okay, let's do the other side. Choose what level that you like the best. I'm right away going to that level 3, but no, you can go level 1, hip width apart, feet a little bit further apart. Bring those toes together so the toe and the heel line up, or bring them one behind each other. Okay, let's give that a try again. Great, and we're breathing comfortably at the same time here. Great. Oh, and I'm noticing that garbage truck is coming out. Now, can he get through my yard? That will be the question. And if he does, fantastic. Then he's plowed a little bit of a, oh, nope, and he's going by. Shucks. Okay, last time. Good. Okay, and release that. Okay, good job. Okay, let's go into our stretching portion here. So let's come and sit on the end of our chair. Darn snow this year. I think this is at least the 2nd or 3rd time that it's clogged up my driveway, and just timing wise that we're not able to get it plowed out on time. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall. Let's have one foot extended, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders back and down. And then we're gonna hinge forward, getting a nice stretch through that hamstring. And he just did a pull around and he went through anyways. And Teddy's not happy he's here. So lift that toe. I'm gonna actually face forward so you can see me here. Toe is lifted, hinging forward, getting a really nice stretch all through that back of that calf muscle there. And I might back up so you can see me a bit better. Great. Okay, so that toe is lifted, hinging forward. Nice stretch in that hamstring and that calf muscle as well. And knee is soft, so never locking that joint. Okay, let's switch to the other side. I'm gonna go at a little bit of diagonal so you can see that better. So my foot is extended out, shoulders back and down, my chest is lifted, and then I'm gonna hinge forward, getting a really nice stretch in that hamstring and the calf muscle because I have that toe lifted up as well. And you can always do these standing as well. I just so prefer them seated because everything else can relax while I just focus on that stretch. But no, you can always do that standing as well. And just breathing comfortably with that at the same time. Okay, and release that. Okay, let's take one foot back. So take it back just a little bit further, getting a stretch through that hip flexor and the quadricep. Chest is lifted, belly button is pulled in, So again, this is a hip flexor quadricep stretch. You're gonna see this one a lot because this is one of the best stretches you can do to really stretch out that front of the thigh. And again, you could do this seated, you could do this seated or standing. Again, if you're doing it standing, it's kind of like you're doing a lunge, so a little bit more work on the legs at the same time. So I kind of like just to sit and then everything else can relax at the same time. And again, take some nice, easy, relaxing breaths. Just to help those muscles relax just a little bit. Good. Okay, and let's switch sides. Other leg forward, other leg back. Let's do the same thing. Hand can be on the edge of the chair, sitting up nice and tall. Great job. Okay, keep going with that stretch. Okay, great job. Okay, let's stretch out that upper body here now. So let's have one arm across the front, grasp onto the arm, give that a gentle stretch across the front of the chest, and just take a couple of breaths. And let's take that arm back. We can just gently press on the elbow or the back of the arm, or we can bring that arm up and over, getting a really nice stretch all through the back of the arm. And I hope you're all staying with me here. These stretches really are one of the most important part of the class. And release that. Other arm across the front, stretch out through the shoulder. And just watching that we're not lifting that shoulder up too high, right? Keep that shoulder down a little bit lower. And taking some nice, easy breaths at the same time. Okay, and taking that same arm back for a tricep stretch. Again, just a gentle push on the back of the arm, or bring that arm up and over. And release that. One more stretch I really like for our hips is just a little bit of a hip opener stretch. So we can have our foot crossed at the ankle. We can have our foot crossed at the base of the knee or just above the leg. And then we can just ever so slightly just give a little pressure to the side of the leg. And again, I'm not hurting my knee at all, just by getting a little bit of pressure, just opens up through that hip just a little further. And then I like just hinging forward at my hips, just slightly, so I'm not rounding my spine, I'm just simply hinging forward at the hips, keeping that neutral spine, just deepening that stretch just a little bit more. Again, this is one of my favorite hip opener stretches. In the yoga world, we call this pigeon pose. Great, and release that. And other side, again, we can cross the ankle, the base of the knee, or above the knee. Sit up nice and tall. And then hinge forward, if that's available to you. Just getting a little bit more of a stretch to that hip. Good, and release that. Okay, let's take a couple breaths and wrap up our class here today. So taking a nice deep breath in, inhale all the way up, and exhale. We throughout our day probably don't take enough nice deep breaths. Just a slower breathing, get a little bit of stress relief, get some fresh oxygen to our brain and to all our muscles. One more time. So at the very least at our end of our class, let's take some nice deep breaths, but if you can slip in them a couple other times, that is great. Okay, let's roll those shoulders up, back, and down, opening up through the chest just a little bit. Let's do that one more time. Nice deep breath in. Great job. Okay, you deserve a big hand. Give yourself a hand. Way to go today, everybody. Thank you again so much for... Shucks. So close to not losing you today. But alas, I did. I'm sorry. So thanks for joining me again today for my Forever in Motion class. So nice that so many of you joined me today, a big group in person or live today. So thanks everybody. I hope you had a great class and I will see you again next time. I think I'm back in 2 weeks. Okay, thanks. Take care. See you next time.